Okay, we will come back to session. And we will go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance first.
All right, I'm just gonna hold it right here. Just stand right here with all of you all. Let the camera get you all. All right, we're gonna start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I'm
Now hold this. Put your hand over your heart.
I'm saying
Come on, we're gonna say it together.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Boy, that's the best pledge I've ever heard. I'm gonna tell you. All right, you're gonna hear from that young man a little bit later, one of our amazing scholar athletes and senior of the month, but you'll get a chance to talk to him a little bit later.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson. Ms. Foley?
Mr. President, I wonder if we might have a moment of silence.
Yes, I was just going to get to that.
Thank you.
And so we had a few losses in our family since we met last. A few of them specifically, Mrs. Peoples, Devea Peoples, a student at Jardine Middle School, and then definitely Ms. Wright, one of the capital city paras. And so if we could have a moment of silence so we can remember them, but also remember others in our family who have passed. Thank you. And thank you, Ms. Foley. Okay, so we will move down the agenda. So next I have the adoption of the agenda.
Mr. President, I move the board adopt the agenda as presented.
Thank you for that motion, Mr. Munoz. I didn't even ask for it, but and is there a second? Mrs. Boley. All in favor for the adoption of the agenda, please raise your hand. And anybody opposed? Okay, the motion carries 7-0. And we'll move back to Dr. Anderson and our school highlights.
This evening, while this person isn't in the room physically, I believe she is online. We're going to ask Mrs. Watson to come forward. And this is a Highland Park night. And I think there should be a Highland Park video for Highland Park night. Do you agree? All right. Do we happen to have a video just with the athletes of Highland Park that we can start off with to kick this off?
She was in awe.
We're leading our school. We're doing great things around.
I'm really excited to how all of my teams performed this year. They really worked hard. They put in the effort and the time. They went above and beyond. I'm so excited for their excellence.
It was amazing. Amazing for our students here at Highland Park, our coaching. They got the momentum going for the success in all of our athletic programs.
My state champion, Michaela Cadet, she wrestled at the 190 weight class and she was 23-4 this season. Being able to show that confidence to the girls that you are strong and you are powerful. The feeling of after she won was undescribable.
I think I cried after every single match I won because I'm actually doing it. Never in a million years that I think I'd ever come this far in my wrestling season. And I think it's just a surreal feeling. I had the faith in myself, and every match was like a step towards the goal and what I wanted to do, and I knew I could do.
It was exciting for her to get to that point because Michaela's been with me since freshman year, sophomore year. She's been increasing better and better each year. Her junior year, she's starting to excel. She's starting to get on the honor roll. She's starting to get rankings and so on and so forth. But when she finally made it to the finals and she was ecstatic about that, she ends up throwing a headlock and sticking her, and she just got up, and I think Michaela was just as excited as everybody else because she was in awe.
We're leading our school. We're doing great things around our school, and especially for our city and our community. Being here with all my friends, making new friends, the admin, the teachers. So I'm just going to use it as fuel to, light a fire. All the work that I put in is still amounting to something.
To bring a group of young men together and to keep pushing the envelope and the bar higher and higher every season. And to see not only team success, but individual success, a community get behind us, a school excited for us. It's been amazing. Obviously we haven't got the ultimate goal that we shot for, but we got really, really close and made a lot of amazing memories along the way. You know, it's taught us a real life lesson. You know, even in light of the loss, you're able to come back. You know, I'm still standing here today. And, you know, so to be able to go through something as hard as what we went through on March 15th, but to continue to move forward and know that that's not the end, you know, I think that's the silver lining in what we did.
I think it's just a great accomplishment as a whole that we have state champions and people in the state championship game from the Topeka Public Schools and Highland Park High School. And it just shows the quality of the coaching and the atmosphere and the athletic programs that are provided for students and produced in the Topeka Public Schools.
Congratulations, Highland Park High School. We are so excited in making history for Topeka Public Schools, both with Michaela Cadet became the first female wrestler winning the state championship for Highland Park, and the Highland Park Running Scots men's basketball team 3 years in a row going to state champs. Again, congratulations. We're proud of you and we're proud of Highland Park High School. Continue the amazing work to engage, prepare, and inspire for a lifetime.
All right, now that we have properly established that it is the Highland Park night, and we're going to turn it back over to Mrs. Watson to say a few comments about Miss Cadet, and then we will go straight into our boys basketball team. Now, she is the first female wrestler that won the state champs for Topeka Public Schools. She literally made history during Women's History Month. So we are so excited to turn it over to Ms. Watson. You've heard a few comments about her, and then her award is here, which she will get when we get back to the school. Ms. Watson?
Good evening. We are really excited for Michaela, especially because, like she said, you know, you wish and you dream that you can do these things, but not only did she succeed herself, but she succeeded for Topeka Public Schools and made history. To me, making history is humongous. Like, who can say in your life you have made history? So to me, I'm just really proud of her, and it's great to be a Scot.
Now, the coaches aren't here for wrestling, are they?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's her coach right there.
All right, Coach Elena Hebner, and this is her first year. All right, come on up, let's give her an applause. Congratulations. There's also going to be a plaque given after we get through all the certificates, and I don't know if there are comments you'd like to make, and I'm assuming that your assistant coach, Coach Maysberger, he's not here this evening. That's right. All right, he's at track, so we're going to turn it over to you. Any other comments you'd like to say about the wrestling team? Your season as a first-year coach going to the state champs?
I just want to say how fortunate it is that I get to coach girls like Michaela Cadet and Connie Burns, who is also a medalist this year. It's an honor to work at a school where I grew up in the district and to give back to these kids and continue the sport that I started at a young age. So thank you so much.
Oh, they're gonna have questions for you.
Oh, sorry.
All right, we're gonna turn it on over.
Questions from the board? Yes, Dr. Beeson.
So I guess just a comment, it sounds like both of you are history makers if you were also a wrestler, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Michaela, congratulations on making us so proud. I am curious how you got into wrestling, and I guess, are you going to take this further in your career? I don't know if she's there. She is.
Yeah. I'm hoping that next year my record gets even better. And when I only started because everyone wanted me to do wrestling because they thought I would be so good at it, because I'd been in martial arts my whole life. So it's really just something that felt natural to me.
Very impressive. Thanks for being online tonight.
Anybody else? Yeah, Ms. Bully.
I wanted to congratulate you. My granddaughter is a freshman in high school, and she is a wrestler. And it has taken such a toll on her body to be a wrestler. And it is such a personal sport. You're the one on the mat. And for you to get to this level is amazing, because there are a lot of girls out there wrestling that didn't get that chance. You're on top. And so, That's a wrestling thing too. You always want to be on top. But we're just so proud of the historical event that you created for your school, your team, your coaches, and our district. Thank you for putting in all that hard work to get to where you are. We are just so proud of what you've done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you, Michaela. Thank you guys both for coming tonight. Dr. Anderson, I'll turn it back over.
All right, and you know, we're gonna come around this way. Can you join me over here? Michaela, I assume you're still online. And so, you know, one of the things we thought would be wonderful for our students, want to make sure they all see you, and I'm gonna step off to the side. And so one of the things that oh, that's okay, I'm gonna put it right here. That's pretty loud. So one of the things that we thought would be nice for the students, first of all, the coaches often get a very large plaque. And so Michaela, this has your photo on it. And this will be hanging in the halls, the Scott Halls and the halls of Highland Park. So congratulations. Your coach will take that back for you, Coach Maysberger and Michaela, the certificates as well, your coach will take back. And then we said for students to go to the championship and to become state champ, and in another case, going 3 times to the state championships, this is a year to capture for students their photo, and many of the students that on the boys basketball team are seniors, but to have their photo pictured in their name so they can have their plaque hung. Dr. Gray, do you have that for Michaela? So Michaela, your coach is going to bring back to you. Every student has this. The plaque says, here's the plaque. And the little marble plaque says, 2025 Acacia State Female Wrestling Champion for Highland Park High School, presented to Michaela Cadet. Again, let's give her another applause and we congratulate you. And thank you. It takes great coaches in order to have great players. Dr. Gray will help you there. And that's something, you got too many awards to make it through back to your season. All right, for our next recognition, Ms. Watson and Coach Mike, would you like to come on up? Now, you know what, and we should do this, Dr. Gray, you're gonna have to help me, so you wanna stay close.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Gray? All right. I know Ms. Watson has a few words she'd like to probably start off with. We already saw the video, so we're gonna turn it over to her, and then we will be awarding each of our coaches today, and then we have something special for our students. But we'll turn it over to Ms. Watson to make some comments.
I would just like to say that we are really blessed to have these gentlemen at Highland Park High School. Not only are they upstanding citizens in the school, but they are academically strong and they're involved in most of them more than one sport. So I'm really excited that we were the ones that got them. And I think all of them, maybe most of them have been there all 4 years. So I'm just grateful for each and every one of them.
All right, and with that, you know, Coach Mike always gives a nice, inspiring, motivational statement, either at the beginning or the end, because we have so many players and so many awards to give. Coach Mike, can we start off with calling your coaches up, giving them their certificates, and then your students, and then I'll turn it over to you, sir, from there.
That'll work.
All right, sounds good. All right, well, we all know Coach Mike Williams. Now, we did do something extra. In addition to our students getting a plaque for the first time, yeah, we have a Coach of the Year for Kansas. Coach Mike Williams, outstanding 24-25 basketball season for Coach of the Year. And Dr. Gray, let me move one over here. Coach Mike, we have never done this before. So Coach Mike, as Coach of the Year in recognition of excellence in the 23, 24, and 25 Acacia 5A state basketball tournaments, presented to Coach Mike as Coach of the Year. So we are so proud of you. Thank you for all that you do. All right. Now, while those are generally reserved for our students, we are so excited to have a Coach of the Year. Coach Mike is going to stay up. We're going to call each of our students, our coaches, our assistant coaches, and then we'll turn it over to Coach Mike to make some comments and give our students their plaques. Coach Mike.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Anderson.
Sure.
Obviously, we can't do this. I don't do this alone. And so I'm blessed to work with amazing men I'll first call Nate Wallace. He's on the road doing work. So he's up in Iowa. I'm doing something for the nonprofit that he works for. But I also call Coach Clarence Tyson. Coach Tyson worked together for a long time. And I'm thankful to have him around. He's great with our kids. He's been our JV head coach for multiple years. Does an amazing job with our guys. Coach Tyson. And I'll call up Coach Ty Platt to the front. He's our freshman and C team head coach. Does a great job with our kids. Been committed. Thanks, Coach. Thank you. Appreciate you. So obviously, a lot like our coaches, we've been blessed with having amazing managers. So we got some good managers. I'm going to call the two young ladies who aren't here today. So Nadlin Matthews, she's been a manager for us over the last 2 to 3 years in the Nahavia Fulton. They did a great job for us over the course of this last year. This one guy I got to make sure I show a lot of love to. They go, yeah, we got to clap for him. We got to clap for him. So obviously we had a heavy senior group this year of players. We're also blessed for having a senior manager. And Luda, come on up here. Ladarius Dupree. Before he goes, the cool thing about Luda, so all our guys, got a good amount of guys going to college next year for playing basketball, football, soccer. And Luda is actually going to college next year on a basketball manager scholarship. Yeah. So, I played Division I basketball. We had amazing managers all connected to our teams and our programs. And it just dawned on me throughout the 4 years, like, hey, man, these guys are on scholarship and getting money. So I moved into coaching. That's been one of my kind of like lures for managers to get involved. If you're committed, you're bought in, your grades are right, the players aren't the only ones that can go to college. We can find ways to get you there as well, too. So, my guy, Luda, thank you for everything. Obviously, I'd love to recognize Mr. Whitaker, our amazing AD. He's not here tonight, and then also Miss Samantha. Samantha does our physical training and keeps our guys in all good shape and stuff and make sure they're able to play. All right, so probably like the guys of the hour, the ones that make this thing go, they make it go. CJ Brown. Let's see. CJ's actually going to college. He just committed to play soccer next year. So he's going to Neosho to play soccer next year. Jamin Wilson. We call him Tubby. I've been lucky to be around a lot of these guys for a long time. So a lot of these guys, I wasn't just their high school coach. We've been connected for a while. Jamin's been one of those guys. Jamin is actually signed to go to play football at Pitt State University next year. Even acknowledge the guys at DeMichael Hales. He's sick. He's not here this evening. DeMichael will have some opportunities to move on and go forward to college as well. Isaiah Kelly. Isaiah's not here either. He ended up going to the hospital last night, but he's another one of our players that's in a good position to go on to the next level as well, too. This guy's super special to me, Mikey Williams. So obviously I got the luxury of coaching my son. I loved every minute of it. He may not have liked it all the time, but I think when it's all said and done, though, he knows I cared for him, and I really, really just try to get the most out of him. That's what it is, man. That's all it is. So, Mason Jones. Mikey is got a chance to go to school too. He just hasn't committed yet. Mason Jones. So again, Mason's like the rest of them. I've been connected with Mason for a long time, and we were lucky to get Mason to come over to Highland Park this year. He had a really, really unique story. Mason wasn't eligible until our last 5 games of the year, and he bought into a plan that we sold to him. Not every kid would have been able to do that. And he bought into a plan where he had to practice every day. So he practiced November, December, January, all with that goal to get to the state tournament and fight for a state championship. And he helped us in an immense way. So I appreciate you. Mason Jones. Joseph Kincannon. We call him JoJo. JoJo. the lone underclassmen in this group we have here today. So all these guys we're acknowledging are all seniors except for JoJo. So JoJo's a sophomore. Been a part of our teams for 2 years, 2 trips to the state tournament. A big cornerstone to what we're doing as we go forward. Joseph Kincaid. Christian Howe. I want to call you that, but I'll call you Chris. Again, I keep going up and down the list. I first met Christian in the 2nd grade at Ross Elementary School, and never knew that we would come full circle 10 years later, and I would be his high school basketball coach, and he would be a part of one of the most special teams that come through Highland Park. So another guy that I got a lot of love for, did a lot of good for us, Christian Howe. Kassan Drew, he's not here today. He's a sophomore, going to be teaming up with JoJo as we go forward, as well as Gianni Montgomery, another sophomore going forward. Mr. Jacory Robinson. So again, we keep going. Another guy I've known since he was Dana in diapers and watched him grow. It's cool for Jacory because, I'm patrolling and moving around Highland Park and doing my thing there. But I first met Jacory in what was it? Was it State Street or Scott Magnet School? Scott Magnet School. We used to take our then Highland Park players when I was an assistant coach. I was also an assistant coach at Topeka West. We would take our kids to the elementary schools and push in and create boys groups. Jacory was a part of one of our first boys groups that we did back in the day. But to see this young man come full circle, Division I signee, early signee, signed in the fall, and had an amazing career for us here at Highland Park. Jacory Robinson. Elijah Thomas, not here tonight, but is signed to go to Butler County Community College to play football. And that's all our guys.
All right, coach and assistant coaches, can you all come forward as well for your flag? All right. And they've gotten this more than 1 year in a row. We've had to really be creative with what we put on the plaque because they win so often. But for our assistant coaches, congratulations, Highland Park Running Scots 2025 Acacia Boys Class 5A state champs. And it shares the years, it shows the coaches, it shows the assistant coaches. And we are, and also the defensive player of the year, Jamon Wilson and Jacory Robinson, as the Meadow Lark Conference League Player of the Year, and Coach Mike Williams as the 2025 Conference League Coach of the Year. Let's give them another applause. Get one photo with you all. I know that the board may have a question or two, but as we do this portion, well, I guess we'll just get one photo with just them first and then turn it over to questions while they're still standing here. You got your photo from back there. All right, and then they'll take one with the board. Board members, do you have questions?
Yes, Mr. Tatum.
Gentlemen, I'm just beaming looking at you guys. This is just amazing. You guys represent, all of you, excellence. And it's excellence manifest in Highland Park High School and to pan out more broadly, all of Topeka Public Schools. You guys are doing some fantastic work. Coach Williams, congratulations. That's high honor. The question that I really have for you, Coach, is I believe that all of these men and young men up here are inspired by you. You're absolutely an inspiration. But you're passing inspiration along to all of them. You're getting it from somewhere. Who was it that inspired you?
Oh man. Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the boss of everything in there, my wonderful wife, Michelle. I get a chance to run all over with the guys, focus a lot of my time, energy, and efforts on the game of basketball and helping young men grow up. And I'm only able to do that because my wife supports me and allows me to do those things. You know, it never turns into a fight. It never turns into an argument. So as bought in as I am to helping these young men grow and develop, Shelly's been bought into this thing the whole way.
All right.
So that inspiration comes from her, and I'm thankful that she allows me to do these things and keep impacting young
All
men.
right.
Wonderful wife, Shelley. Stand on up. They're all telling you to stand up.
All right. Thank you. All of you continue to keep up the great work. We're all proud of you. And I know you're going to continue to make us all proud. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Sue.
Congratulations, young men. I've known a lot of you for a long time. You might not remember me, but I definitely remember you running around at Ross and a couple of others, and to see you as champions. I mean, honestly, that is such a reward for me. I was wondering if maybe possibly a few of you might volunteer to tell me, how did Coach Mike change the trajectory of your life?
There's a microphone over here too. You may have to come to the microphone.
Growing up, Coach Mike really always preached to us about making it to the next level and furthering your education, because really the biggest goal in life was to get your education and move on to the next level. And I feel like that's something that all of us on this team wanted to accomplish, and he really pushed us and motivated us every day to make that goal achievable.
Oh, okay. I feel like Coach Mike, my father's not here and he hasn't been here for more than most of my life. So I feel like I thank Coach Mike for stepping into that role for me and providing a lot for me as a person on and off the court.
Yes, sir.
No, just Coach Mike for me. Ever since I got into high school, I've been to 3 schools now. Highland Park is my 3rd. And I really struggled with just like settling in at places and really feeling like I belong there. And Coach Mike, you know, not only just for basketball, but even football and just everything here, like he made it really easy for me to adjust. He just helped me just realize like high school isn't that hard. You just got to do the small things. And as long as you do all that, then everything else is going to handle itself. And again, he's been there my whole life, and I appreciate him a lot.
I just wanted to, anybody else?
Yeah, Mikey does.
Mikey's got to, right? Mikey's got to.
So yeah, everybody knows he's my father. So obviously he's been there my whole life. Like you said, pushing me to be the best, whether I liked it or not. I knew it was for like a greater reason that even if I didn't realize it then, I realize it now. Like he said, I'm going to the next level for college. He's been there, my father, my mother pushing me along the way, just wanting the best out of me, not wanting me to fall short, because back then they just seen something in me, and it's just coming full circle.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to thank all of you, because Friday nights, I couldn't wait for Friday nights to come watch you play ball. It was so exciting to see all of you become champions. And I know that last game was a killer. But how much did you lose by? 3, possibly 1 shot? Who says they're better than you? Right? That was an even game, and it just took one lucky shot. And you guys are champions, and we're just so proud of everything you put into this. So thank you for giving me so much joy.
Dr. Beeson.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. Mrs. Bully kind of said at the end what I've been thinking since I watched that championship game. And that is that as far as any of us are concerned, you are the 5A state champions. My dad was a basketball coach. I grew up at basketball games multiple times a week. And what I know about basketball is that the whole thing can change in 3 seconds. You played the better game that night. I was there. I watched you. Your sense of sportsmanship, of camaraderie, of brotherhood and love for each other is so palpable. And I know Coach Mike has fostered that. Coach Mike, I wanted to say to you, watching you coach is actually kind of an emotional experience. It actually kind of reminded me of watching my dad coach, and your defense is amazing, which is important, and not everybody coaches that. Sorry. When you lost that game, sometimes I think sports are the only time that men get to show their feelings. And that is not fair, I want to say. Thank you. And I saw so much feeling after that loss, and I felt that heartbreak with you. I still feel that. And I watched how your coach hugged you each and held you each and nurtured you. And that showed me that when he does that in those really hard times, he's been doing it all along. And I am so grateful that you all found each other and found Coach Mike. And I am just so proud of this team. So thank you for being here. And sorry for crying.
I don't know if anybody wants to follow that up, but I will. I'm just going to read a line. I do think Coach Mike, Coach Tyson, Coach Platt, I think obviously these young men are better because you guys are in their lives. And I think our community is better because you young men are in our lives. And so thank you very much for letting us celebrate you. And I hope all this helps you remember all the good that you've brought, no matter what happened at the end of that game. So thank you. Oh yeah, Ms. Schmidt as well.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, I got a quick comment. Coach Mike, I'm so sorry I can't be there tonight because you know that I would love to come up and squeeze you and congratulate you. And everybody's had questions for the team, and I've got a question for you. And it is that I've noticed the incredible way that you inspire your team and that you build character into them, the way that you and your coaches lead by example, and you encourage them to push beyond their own limits and really bring out their best, not just as athletes, but as people. And so I'd love to hear more about your approach in motivating your team and instilling those values like teamwork and resilience and integrity and your methods that are clearly making a huge impact in our school in Highland Park High School.
First of all, I'd say thank you, Ms. Schmidt, for that. I'd start by saying, you see the tears in my eyes because it's real. Yeah, that's the basis of who I am. I always wanted the guys to know that, and I always wanted to lead them in that way. And so I think first and foremost, and young people will know, if you're not real and you're not, they can see through that. They'll be the first to tell you. So I learned that as a young age, as an educator and as a coach, that I needed to be authentic to the individuals that I was leading. So I first try to do that first and foremost. I believe in the supernatural power of real relationships and real, really getting to know the people that you work with, really spending time with them. We had CJ stop by my office the other day. We talked for a day near 2 hours. It was just a real connection, and so real relationships, really want to be transparent. And then I also know that I had the luxury of learning the game at a high level. I played Division I basketball. I played collegiate basketball. And I didn't want to hold on to those things. I wanted to share them. And I wanted to it seemed these guys will tell you, we'll turn a 2-hour practice into a 4-hour gym session. But it's just man, I got so much I want to give them. And I don't know when the last opportunity is going to be. Look at them, they're graduated, and so I don't get that chance to impact these young men, like we once was. And so, you know, I want to be real. I want to build real relationships. I feel like I have information that I can share with young people. And you know, I say I'm real. I mean, I'm real to the guys. Like when they're on point, I try to let them know. If there's something that we can correct and fix, I want to let you know as well too. But like they said, you know, from day one, I just wanted them to make it, you know, and I believe, you know, just hearing Miss Bowley and hear Dr. B speak, like we wanted to utilize the game of basketball to change lives. And a lot of people didn't understand that when we first said that. And obviously our ultimate goal, you know, was to win a state championship. But getting the feeling in here tonight, coming back away from that game, a lot of emails, getting stopped in the restaurants and in the grocery stores. And even though we didn't win the championship, I feel like we impacted in a way that we always wanted to use the game for. And we want to impact people through the game of basketball. And I think these young men, by the way they play, by the way they conduct themselves and how they're moving forward, I believe that they have done that. Who would have thought that round basketball, 94 feet on the court, 5 guys come together to play against 5 guys, that we could find a way to bring a community together. And it was amazing at that state tournament seeing Highland Park people, Topeka High people, Topeka West people, Topeka people in general come together and get behind these guys. So I'm thankful. I hope I can continue to do it. And as much as it's about me, it's so much about the young people that I'm around. You know, they allow me to. You don't got to. I always tell you that. You didn't have to let me coach you like I did, but you bought in, you did. So as much as I try to do what I do, I'm just blessed to be around young people that allow me to do what I do.
Well, if Topeka Public Schools did nothing else but gave every kid that walked through our doors to have as an authentic a relationship with an adult as your team does with you and you do with them, then I'd say we've done something right. You know, letting everything else go. It's all about relationships. And I think everything else you do is the icing on the cake. And I just love that you are bringing recognition to Highland Park High School. And, you know, I'm always rooting for the east side of town. I'm sorry, I know it's all a Topeka thing, but I love when we can get you guys in the spotlight. It's because we know that there are great things going on at Highland Park High School, and it's just a treasure to let Topeka and Kansas see that as well. So congratulations to all of you.
All right, now we have a photo to take, but we do have another acknowledgement, our senior of the month, which happens to be one of these players. And so at the end of that, we'll take the photos after we do our last acknowledgement. Hey, Coach, after the game, we had a little note that was sent to us. You know how at the end of a game, when they say, man, we're going to wherever, attached to that note later was a $2,000 check. So when you, guess it's not, we're going to Disney, but for you all to take a trip before the young men start their senior year to wherever you choose to take a trip to with that amount of money for the full team. So we are excited to send you all off with one more opportunity to fellowship and have fun, whether it's Six Flags or wherever it is that you're going. But thank you for all that you do. Let's give them another applause as they take their seats for just a moment. All right. As you take your seats, we're going to go into our Senior of the Month this evening. That is our next award. Now, there is no coincidence that ever since Ms. Watson became principal, all these championships and state championships have been happening at Highland Park year after year. So she's beaming back there as principal. If you can join me in the video for our Senior of the Month.
Number 5, Senior Mikey Williams Jr.
Hello, my name is Mikey Williams Jr. and I'm a senior at Highland Park High School. Here at Highland Park, I'm involved in basketball, I'm in Stuco, Link Crew, BSU Spirit Club. I'm also a sports med student at TCO.
Mikey is one of those all-around students. He's a perfect example of a Scot, top-notch grades. He does all kinds of sports, along with just a great person.
He has such a great character. He's a very funny kid. He's very much a leader. So the kids, they see him and they come up and they give him a high five. I don't think I've ever seen that kid in a bad mood. I don't think I've ever seen him not smile.
He's everywhere. You know, he's a big time student, got college credits, 4.0 cum GPA. And the cool thing about Mikey, he also made time for people in his life. So his family, friends, and to be able to do all that stuff going on is always hard.
Being around my dad, that was my first love. He did it all his life, so allowing it to keep me going in life, using it as an outlet to do great things.
The first thing you're going to think is he's very loud and outgoing, and he's this shining star that wants to be seen, but he actually is kind of under the radar. I think he has that balance down for academics and athletics. His parents wouldn't let him have it any other way.
So with basketball scholarships that I've gotten, I plan on playing basketball for school and college, and I plan on studying to become a physical therapist. And with the TCALC, I got an internship with Sormontville Health, so interning at the clinic is helping me get my hours in.
I just want for him to shoot for the stars and do everything that he has set out, every goal that he has wanted to accomplish. He has a great family that he comes from, so I know that he has got a great fan base and a great team that will make sure that he does all the things.
Mikey has done a great job of knowing who he wants to be, knowing who he is. He's stuck true to that.
My advice for Mikey after high school is to continue being involved. He is that student. How do they say it? He's that guy. That's Mikey.
Never give up and keep pushing. No matter what people say, no matter like what the circumstances, whatever you want, whatever goal you want to attain, you can do it with like hard work. Don't give up on yourself. Don't back down and keep pushing.
Mr. Williams and Ms. Watson, can you come forward? Let's give him an applause. And Mr. Mikey Williams, come on up, sir. Congratulations on your April Senior of the Month. We're proud of you. Mrs. Watson, I'll turn it over to you if there are any comments. And do you have a gift for him as well?
Yes. Here is his gift. So normally we give them a gift for the college that they're attending, but Mikey is still deciding. So we gave him some things to use at college and then a gift card to get gear when he determines his college. You're welcome. I don't think you can show me if you want.
Some paints.
A whole bunch. And there's a gift card on there for what's it called? Kansas Sampler, because I had no clue which college you were gonna choose. That was from Miss Jardina. That is not me. She wanted to do a little something funny.
Thank you, guys.
But we are really proud of Mikey, and as much as I want to give him all the accolades, he has fantastic parents that have been along the ride the whole time. And if he's squirreling around at all, you just send one text and that smile turns to a frown. So we've just been blessed to be around the 4 years while he's been there. I'm grateful that they brought him to Highland Park because they could have chose anywhere. And he's just incredible.
And
I suspect there will be more questions, Mr. Williams. So I will look to Dr. Beeson first.
Yeah, I know. I already have my Kleenex. Hi, Mikey.
Hello, Dr. B.
You know, I adore you, and I've adored you since you were a 6th grader. I was Mikey's social studies teacher in 6th and 7th grade. And tonight has been about basketball. And obviously, you've continued to be an excellent student. But I just wanted to let everyone know what an incredible human you are, and that you have been since you were the little boy that I met. Mikey is very funny and very charismatic. And I gather that much about your character hasn't changed since then, that you are a kind, inclusive, accepting person who obviously works so hard and loves the people you love, right? So I just want to say that it has been such an honor to have any part in your life and to get to know you. And it has been so fun seeing you become a young man and all the successes you've had. So thank you for being here and congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much for that. That's just, just thinking back to the middle school classes, all my friends I had, I mean, we all loved your class. It was just good vibes. You were very chill, but you stayed honest. So that message you just gave to me just warms my heart because I remember those times. So I thank you.
Thanks, Mikey.
Yes, Miss Boley.
So is it okay if I call you Mike now? You've probably reached the stage in your career where Mike might be appropriate?
Yeah. It doesn't, I call him Mikey, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
So if you had your choice of college that you want to go to, what would it be? I know you have 4 choices already. What do you really want to hold out for? Put it in public. Shout out your destiny, your manifestation.
All right, guys, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Undecided. I'm gonna keep you guys guessing. It'll be a grand finale, a big surprise.
I'll be watching for it, Mike. Congratulations. I know you have excellent grades. I know you're a leader in your building, and I'm so glad you got this award before you graduated. And then I also want to give a shout out to your mom and dad, because I know how hard they work to keep you on that highway. And you probably didn't always want to be there. And so we really appreciate parents like that. And I'm not sure, but we might have some parents of players back there as well. If that's true, if you are a parent of a player and you came out tonight, would you stand as well? Are you family members? Yeah. Thank you for encouraging your students as well. It's a partnership, right? It's a partnership. And so we appreciate everything you all have done. Hey, good luck. I can't wait to hear the surprise.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Munoz.
I heard very briefly about some of the stuff. You're an athlete, but you have lots of other interests. You're dynamic. Could you talk a little bit more about the other things that you're involved in school? I heard something about Interact and BSU. Talk about some of the other things that are interesting to you.
So I'm in Link Crew. It's a collective group of juniors and seniors who help and mentor the incoming freshmen and the freshmen that we have at our school. So just things like that, just being able to help kids in our building get accustomed to like the new environment, just giving back because I've been here for 4 years. So just giving them some like early like information that they would need to know going into it. It's a very nice thing to do. I'm also involved in the Black Student Union, BSU, going on college trips, learning more about heritage, culture, just a group of my friends involved in it. So it's another nice thing we do. Oh yeah, I'm also an AVID in student council. So AVID is helping me like with college. I'm filling out a lot of scholarships with it. I'm learning a lot of information that I like, grants and all that stuff. So just the things that the school's providing for me, I'm really taking a hold of it. Anything that can help me better off in my life, I'm just really taking full advantage of it.
Well, thanks for taking advantage of that and also for giving back to younger students. It's appreciated.
No problem.
Other questions? Dr. Bonebrake.
Mikey, you're quite a renaissance man. There have been a lot of adjectives to describe you: persistence, intelligence, personality. The sky's the limit for you, young man. And you may have a particular goal for helping others, but I'd like you to consider medical school. Be good, have fun, or don't get caught.
I will take those words to heart. Thank you for that.
You might hear that again when you walk across the stage at graduation. Dr. Vollenberg will give you advice. Any other comments? If not, thank you very much, Mr. Williams.
Thank you, guys.
All right, at this time, we're going to take a break for photos. So will the basketball team come forward?
Usually we're like behind, but you guys are.
All right, so we're gonna right there in the middle. All right, the board will figure it out. All right, gentlemen, look this way. And the board will come around you all. All right. Looking good.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Next to, is it Ja'Cory? Yeah, there we go. Just scoot back.
You're fine. You first.
All right, looking over here on 3. 1, 2, 3.
And then Mikey's mom, come on up for your senior of the month photo. Miss Watson, you weren't in the picture. Why you didn't come up?
Gotta redo.
Wait. Miss Watson has to be in the picture. We gotta redo the picture.
Miss Watson, what were you thinking?
She was admiring.
All right, same position.
Look this way. Ready?
All right. That balloon is getting in the way. All right, on 3. Thank you. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. And just stay right there so we can get a picture. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Okay. All right, Mikey, Coach Mike, and Coach Mikey's congratulations.
Thank you.
And then our wrestling champ is next, and wrestling coach. All right, as you get back started, I just want to make mention as you're taking your seats that the coach of the wrestling team, she is a Topeka High graduate. The wrestling team coach, can you come back up here for just a minute? What year did you graduate?
I graduated from Topeka High in 2022.
Is exceptional. Wow. Just talk about how keeping Topeka talent right here in Topeka Public Schools. All right. As everyone else transitions out of the space, we're going to proceed on with our final acknowledgements. We just want to acknowledge that this is, we did have this week Paraprofessional Day, and the proclamation is attached and is acknowledged. We're going to give everybody a moment. All right, Paraprofessional Day was April the 2nd, and we acknowledge our 500 paraprofessionals for all that they do, the hard work that they do. They were all celebrated by their schools. This is also the Week of the Young Child. And with the Week of the Young Child, we have a presentation this evening about early childhood. And as that starts, there'll be a video that highlights our young children. And we have with us this evening future Dr. Taylor. She graduates in May with her doctorate, and she'll be presenting. She used to be a major part of our early childhood. She still is, but she also is assistant principal now at Williams. So she'll have her building leader license and her doctorate, I believe from KU. So we're excited about her May graduation. So since that is a month away, I'm gonna turn it over to I think I turn it back over to you because the highlights are over.
Yeah, we'll get back to
and
that.
then we'll come back to the acknowledgement for Week of the Young Child, starting with Dr. Taylor and Ms. Sharp.
Yeah, so we'll go to public communications, which there is none tonight. And so then we are down to business by consent, and I'll look for a motion for that.
Mr. President, I move the board approve the items of business by consent as presented and authorize the board president or superintendent to sign a special project and purchasing contracts for and on behalf of the board.
And a second? Mrs. Boley seconds. And any discussion or questions on our consent agenda? Ms. Boley.
I just wanted to thank Mr. Wilson for that 3-year contract on food and milk. What a great gift to have right now as things are uncertain in our marketplace. So thank you for getting that 3-year contract pinned down. Nice job.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Any other discussion? Okay, if not, we will go to a vote. Everybody in favor, raise your hand. And anybody opposed? Okay, the motion carries unanimously. And so we will go down to superintendent's report. Back to Dr. Anderson.
All right, and as Dr. Taylor and Ms. Sharp come forward and we celebrate Week of the Young Child, there's a video that starts us off, and we'll go right into their PowerPoint.
Week of the Young Child is all about celebrating early education with our youngest scholars. These young kids are our future. We get to celebrate who they are as young people and what their future holds for them.
I think what makes our preschool students so wonderful is just that they're creative, they're funny, they're kind, they're loving. Having those early years here in a preschool building, having that experience builds students' social skills, but it also sets them up for the academic success.
One of the most important things that they can do is play. 80% of brain development happens before a child is 3. That is why it's super important that we are celebrating little people that are running around, because they go through our school system and they become citizens here in our city, and we want to support them as much as possible.
We offer in Topeka Public Schools a whole bunch of different programs. Not only do we offer preschool education at both Shaner, Sheldon, and Pine Ridge Prep, we also offer preschool education in some of our elementary schools. There are also many services that we offer, things like parents as teachers for prenatal to age 5. We have high expectations for our learners. We learn through play, we learn through developmentally appropriate strategies and activities, but we also set those high expectations that you can do these higher level things. You can answer higher level questions. You can learn by interacting with your peers, but we can do it in a hands-on way that is 3, 4, and 5-year-old friendly.
All right. We are very fortunate to have Hannah Taylor here this evening to represent our early childhood team. But before she starts, I want to take just a minute and introduce Miss Nicole Fairley, who is here, a coordinator as parents as teachers, and Miss Megan Hadorn, who coordinates our preschool intervention program. We've worked really hard over the last 7 or 8 years to really create an early childhood leadership team, and they work well together to make sure that we're providing the best services possible.
All right, good evening, board and everyone else that's here. Thank you for the opportunity to share about all of the exciting progress and growth we've made in early childhood. And especially in honor of National Week of the Young Child next week. My name is Hannah Taylor. I am currently the assistant principal at Whitson Elementary, but formerly was the early childhood consulting teacher and a preschool teacher within the district. So to get us started, we can go ahead and go to the next slide. We are so proud of the number of blended classrooms we have been able to have in the district. So a blended classroom is one where the classroom teacher is the classroom teacher, but they're also the special education teacher and the case manager for the students that receive special education services in their classroom. So that's not only providing a better continuity of services for those students, but it's also ensuring that we're able to serve those students in their least restrictive environment with more of their general education peers. We currently have 10 blended classrooms across the district with the goal of adding more every year. Next year, we're aiming to add 3 to 4 more. And just a few years ago, we started at 0. So we have made great progress over these years. In addition, the students that we are serving, we want to make sure that they are having that high quality instruction that Mrs. Baxter spoke about in the video. And that starts with having a resource that is directly aligned with what they are going to be doing when they enter kindergarten and beyond. So we are using Benchmark Ready to Advance, which is directly aligned with the Benchmark Advance that they use starting in kindergarten. We also have curriculum and assessment teams that each summer are creating and revising curriculum design maps across all subject areas for both that are inclusive of both 3 and 4-year-old students, so that students, no matter what program they're in, they have that guaranteed and viable curriculum. And it's also giving teachers those resources and supplemental things they can use to make sure that their students are able to learn. We've also really improved our general education intervention process at the early childhood level so that when we notice even our youngest learners are struggling, we have a systematic and intentional way to intervene because we know that that early intervention is key to helping them be successful in their years and beyond. We also have the same key instructional focuses at early childhood that we have all the way up through high school. So we're getting students to talk about what they're learning. How will they know they're successful? Why are they learning it? Getting them to talk with their peers about what they are learning and getting them to answer those higher level questions that we know that they're capable of. And so these systems that we have worked to build are really helping to bridge the gap and help those transitions into kindergarten. We also have every year our preschool teachers fill out a transition form that gives key information, the strengths, the areas of need, strategies that work really well for a student that is then shared with the elementary administrators and kindergarten teachers so that they know a little bit more about the students that are coming into them and also helps them be able to build class lists. We also have kindergarten orientation every year, which is actually next week at every elementary school. And that gives us an opportunity to support that transition and provide a kindergarten orientation toolkit that is so full of resources and materials for families to support their child's learning at home. And it even includes videos of how they can use those resources effectively to help support that transition. As well as resources for community partners they can partner with to help support their child. Not only do we want to build that continuity from early childhood to kindergarten and beyond, but we've also worked really hard to build consistency across our early childhood programs so that it doesn't matter what program a student goes to, what classroom they're placed in, they are going to have the same opportunities to learn and be successful. One of the ways we've done that is, as I've mentioned, we have a common resource that every classroom is using. We have the same standardized assessment in MyIGDs, and we also have common formative assessments that our curriculum and assessment teams have created that are focused on those power standards in literacy and math to really help us track and monitor that progress and growth of our students across all programs. So in summary, they showed on the screen all of the sites that we have early childhood programs at. And there were over 900 students on that screen that are in full day or half day programs within our district, which when Mrs. Sharp took over as director about 8 years ago, that number was 700 to 750. So we are really proud of how we have been able to expand our programs. We know we have room to grow and improve, and we always want to continue expanding and doing that growth and that work. But we're also really proud of what we've done. So thank you so much for your time. Are there any questions?
Questions, Ms. Foley?
So I see we have a total students of 1,170. What is that in comparison of the amount of kindergarten students we have in our district?
We have about 900 kindergarten students each year.
Each year?
Mm-hmm. You have to keep in mind that figure had parents as teachers as well as 3 and 4 year olds.
3 and 4 year olds. It's just so nice to see a large number of students that have a little bit of a head start. Well, it's not like a little bit of a head start. I've seen that curriculum. It's a big head start. So it looks like it's a pretty decent sized number of our kindergarten enrolling. So that's powerful. Thank you. Thank you for all that you've done to increase this program and realize the importance of early childhood education. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Other questions? Mr. Tatum.
Mrs. Taylor, soon to be Dr. Taylor. You've been working on your doctorate, and that's probably why I've seen you show up in some very unconventional places around the district. Now it all makes perfect sense. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you've been working on in preparation for this new milestone academically in your life?
Absolutely. So I thank you all for the opportunities you've given me to sit in on meetings as a part of my district leadership license and that field experience. My research has focused on looking at the relationship between MyIGDs, which is that standardized assessment that we take in early childhood, and then comparing that to MAP, which is the assessment they take starting in kindergarten, and really looking at, is there a relationship between them? Does how a student performs on that IGDs assessment in the spring of preschool tell us how they might perform in the fall of kindergarten on MAP? And there is a positive relationship, which is really exciting and helps us kind of understand the MyIGDs system a little bit better and be able to frame it better of how we're using that information to further support and help our students be prepared for kindergarten.
So it's a predictive tool. You're interested in using it as a predictive tool to correlate positively with other benchmarks that we're keeping track of.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Other questions? I have a question, Ms. Taylor, and it might be you, and it might be Mrs. Sharp. The list of early childhood sites, there are some pretty big disparities in the numbers. If we look at like the sites in the schools, I'm guessing some of the, like Jardine is a huge school, but at least on this list, it has I'm guessing those are more intensive. Like there's different types of sites, is that?
That is correct.
Yeah.
We've worked to build a continuum of services that mirrors what is available at the elementary level. And so Jardine is actually, they've had classrooms in the past, but this year we opened a classroom focused on students with autism. And so that is housed at Jardine, and that is why that number is lower.
Yeah, I think for me in my professional role and some kind of outside of this setting, I mean, I know about preschool, but the breadth of options for preschools, whether it's PIP or some of our other opportunities, and to be able to serve the different kids and the families where they're at, what they need is really powerful. And as I think Ms. Boley had alluded to, and hopefully with some of your research can really kind of move the needle on how ready these kids are for school and then where they end up lifelong. So thank you very much.
Yeah. We actually do have just a little bit of data that our students last year, when they took the fall MAP assessment, 71% of them in language arts were proficient in the fall, and 62% of them in math. So they were performing average. And we also have Dr. McDonald has given us some data that has shown that students that do attend our preschool programs do perform higher when than those that did not.
Is there a reason we don't just have every kid in preschool?
There are some reasons.
Yeah, that's, is that Mr. Minky's fault?
Yes. I immediately looked at Mr. Minky. So our funding for early childhood comes from many places. We have a Kansas preschool pilot grant that mainly funds Pine Ridge Prep. We have the Head Start grant, and then we have the 4-year-old at-risk dollars. The 4-year-old at-risk money is allocated at a 0.5 for every student that we serve. So the funding is much different. And then Parents as Teachers also has several grants that it applies for each year to fund it as well. So funding is much different.
Yeah, and funding feels tenuous at times, depending on the day of the week. So we appreciate, obviously, the hard work of Mr. Minky's department and all the things that all our staff do to help try to get as many kids as we can into this valuable resource. So thank you. Oh, Mr. Munoz.
Speaking of sort of funding and how that impacts students, I wonder if you might be able to sort of help educate me on sort of staff to child ratios. What are we aiming for when it comes to early childhood in our classrooms? They don't have it. And maybe how that might compare with some of our other student populations.
Yes. Some of it is dependent upon the grant and the funding. Some of them are a 1-to-10 ratio. At Sheldon and Pine Ridge, they have 2 paras per classroom, and same for most of our PIP classrooms as well. So it varies, but really the maximum would be 1-to-10.
Okay, thank you. That's very low, yeah.
Dr. Bonbrake.
Thank you. Is there a way to increase the number of parents as teachers? She laughs.
Dr. Bonbrake, you're gonna have to roll and read for this question.
No, it's actually an excellent question. So there's a lot of things to consider. The biggest part of consideration for us is just based on how our funding is and how things like raises impact our funding. And so as we've had raises, which is excellent and well-deserved by staff, but what that means after that is that we have to make up that when we're trying to hire new staff. So I am with you. I 100% think that we have the capacity as far as families to be able to serve more families in the district. But we just have to find the funding out there for that. So we're kind of waiting on hold of every single grant right now. I've written several in the past month. They're all due basically. We'll be learning about that soon. And that really just changes how things go.
Well, is there a way to have more learning at home?
That's also a wonderful question. So one of the things that I'll just mention, and Mrs. Sharp knows I've mentioned this before, is Parents as Teachers nationally is doing a lot of research and a lot of work partnering with PBS. So one of the things that we're going to be kind of highlighting here in the next year or so is some partnerships with PBS, because PBS has amazing opportunities of learning at home for families, and it's all free. So we're going to be working on doing several group connections, is what we call them, or groups for families in the community, including Parents as Teachers families, but also open to any families, basically birth to 5 that really focus on how do we take things that PBS already has available and how do we get those into the hands of families. So that's kind of a kind of behind the scenes thing that is going on that I'm super excited about. And they are super excited about working with us to just really increase that knowledge base that they have. So if you're not really aware with PBS, they have a show and then it says it works on social emotional development or math or social studies. And then you pick out that show and then there's tons of educational things that families can be doing at home. So that's something that we're going to be trying to do more sharing with families in the community as we partner with them. Yeah, PBS, public broadcasting service.
Then maybe we can test the parents.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. I think that's it. Thank you, Ms. Taylor.
All right, thank you. All right. That does conclude our early childhood presentation. We're going to turn it back over to you.
Okay. I think we're on to board member comments and we'll go back to Dr. Bomberg.
Finance committee met, health insurance committee met, wellness committee met. And our budget looks good for the school year. Who knows what DOGE is going to do to our income? I guess federally, we get at least 15% of our budget from the feds. Knowing how much our Kansas legislature hates public schools, I wonder how much funding we might get back from the federal government through the state. So that's a big question. And we're looking into, you mentioned the Boswell land and the city park, where the city takes care of the school-owned park, and 501 takes care of the city-owned park. Something's screwed up there, but they may be working on a trade somehow, so we can get that all straightened out. The health insurance, we still have another 2 years of LR's negotiation with Blue Cross Blue Shield. After that, we're a little concerned. It could go up 29% for premiums. I think this past year, we spent 29% more than the premiums. So that's looking great. The Wellness Committee, in an attempt to get people to see their primary care physicians, is, and I mentioned this last month, suggesting that if you don't see your primary care physician, you get charged $50 a month more. And if it's a couple's agreement that you got your spouse in on the insurance and your spouse doesn't see the doctor, then that's $100 a month. But you've got a year to do that. And we'll be making more communications to our employees about the importance so they don't get that extra fee. And fortunately, that's all I have.
Thank you, Dr. Bomberg. Dr. Beeson.
I had to miss the equity team meeting this month, so I'll let Mr. Munoz give us the update on that. I presented on behalf of the board to the DCAC meeting Tuesday night, I believe. So heard from a lot of schools on that meeting. April will be a big month for school carnivals and festivities that I know everyone's looking forward to. State testing is commencing this week. And so I know that's a topic of conversation in my household. I also want to say thank you to the district for the celebration tonight of Highland Park. I think that was just so lovely. And one thing I didn't say amongst my tears was that it is not lost on me that the team Highland Park lost to is a private school. And I wish I had acknowledged to them that, you know, there's some injustice in that, and that I think is pretty obvious. So anyway, so proud of those athletes and students. And I think that's it for me.
Thank you, Dr. Beeson. Ms. Boley.
We had a technology committee meeting, and we were able to hire a general director of IT, John Kristen. Did I say it correctly? And we welcome him to our district. And I know it's going to be great to have him in the department. That department has lots of work to do, so this will be very nice to have him on board. Windows 11 will be uploaded on computer devices, all the school-owned devices this summer. You do need to turn them in. If you keep them over the summer, your device is not going to work next year. Nothing will work without this new upgrade. So we are hoping that everybody will get those turned in. The team is going to be working really hard to turn everything over and get a new accurate device number. But what we really have in the district, we are revising policies for our technology, and that is moving forward. So that is a heavy lift, and we appreciate everybody trying to create that policy to strengthen what we have already. Sheldon, very first thing that Miss Tanner told everybody is right now our grant is safe for our preschool program at Sheldon. There was definitely a concern there, but right now everything is looking good. And so that was the first thing that she reported to all of us. So we'll be able to continue to educate all those little tiny people over there. They're scoring. They're starting to take all their testing towards the end of the year. So you'll see that in the report that's always attached. I'm really excited about the disc golf over at Eisenhower. They're working hard to put a course together, and it'll be used by the school and also the neighborhood. And it's just, they're working hard to get that up and running. KASB Day at the State House. I was able to speak with the education department or committee. There were many board members there from across the state, and that committee was very gracious to ask us to come and talk with them and ask questions. And it was very nice to share, really what does our budget look like and how do we spend our money, and the needs that we need, the safety of our board members. We are so blessed in our community. I want to thank our community because not all board members feel safe being on a school board, and our committee or our community is just so kind to us, and we want to thank them. Also, we went to the Education Day at the State House over Easter or spring break, and we had so many teachers represented from Topeka Public Schools that gave up their time of being away from school to come to the State House and represent educators. And once again, the Education Committee asked people from around the state, teachers, superintendents, principals, to sit down and speak with them and get more knowledge. And so having that ability to share what's really happening within our districts was very powerful. Also, high praise for Dr. Anderson. I'm president of the KPERC organization that works with Tanzan, and they reported during that meeting that your professional development for their people across the state was so powerful for them. I guess you're going to do it one more time. And there was just so many emails to Mrs. Groff that said that was so powerful. So thank you for representing us so well and sharing. Another person I wanted to shout out is Lila Potter. She is a graduate from Topeka West High School. She was in Chicago last year, one of the leads. Well, she just closed her tenure on Waitress at Topeka Civic Theaters as the lead character as a freshman at Washington University. And she was in every single scene, I believe. She was just remarkable and shows the power of our humanities department in our schools. And she was amazing. So I am done. I am so thankful to see all those young men with college opportunities. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Thank you to the coaches that lead them that way and their principal for leading them that way. And they have a future in education, right? Hopefully they'll come back and do some coaching for us maybe. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Foley. Mr. Tatum.
In contrast to Mrs. Bowley, I think mine is going to be really, really short. And this is sweet. That's okay. You did fine. You did fine. Policy Council met last week. I believe it was last week. Yeah. And Mr. Munoz and I were there, and the policy committee is just continuing to work through policies. Many of those will, you guys will all see in a few weeks when we start working through them as a full board. But that committee continues to do work in moving policies forward that need some degree of revision or updating or something to that effect. I also, my list really is that short tonight. I had the privilege of going to the Topeka High honor roll assembly, and that was really cool. My daughter Olivia was one of those students recognized, and thank you. I know Mr. Munoz's daughter, and I don't mean to steal your thunder, Mr. Munoz. Mr. Munoz's daughter also. So congratulations to all of those students that worked hard. There was a lot of them, a lot of students on the honor roll. Yeah, it's just amazing to see these young people do a great work in their studies. And the last thing I want to mention is we've talked about, mentioned the Roland Reed event that's coming up. That's come up one or two times this evening. I will also, as Ms. Fairley knows, I will be at Roland Reed next Saturday, and I am very much looking forward to reading to some kids at that event. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Tatum. Mr. Munoz.
I don't want to talk over what Mr. Tatum already talked about, but just a quick update. We talked about regulation and capitalization of furniture and equipment. I think that's a very complicated way of saying keeping a track of all of our holdings in our school district. I think it's important from financial perspective to have a good grasp of that. We're looking over school bus recommended policies, updating that somewhat, as well as the cardiac emergency response plan. So that's just to get more into weeds. And as Mr. Tatum said, we have some other forthcoming recommended updates to policy, which will come before the board in the future. Beyond that, last time I mentioned, I'm going to try and get to every high school's theater programs. And so I did recently go to Topeka West High School and their theater program, Property Rights, which was very interesting. We were on the stage to and so that sort of caught me off guard. But they were great, and I look forward to the next program, which is going to be Highland Park here soon in a couple of weeks. Tomorrow, I'll be reading to a classroom at Scott Dual Language. There's a young leaders program that needed some bilingual readers to classroom, so I volunteer to sort of have that spot covered. As well as I'm going out for pancakes. I encourage you all to join me at McEachran. They have a pancake feast Saturday morning. And I could be wrong, but I think there's a community egg hunt at Hummers. Is that right? On Saturday? So if you all feel like, now I don't have small kids, so I probably won't go to that. But if you have small kids, I encourage you all to join those who are there at Hummers for a community egg hunt. And that's all for me.
Thank you, Mr. Munoz. Mrs. Schmidt?
I'm telling you, I'm really digging this because everybody always covers all the committee work. I really don't have a lot to add. There are two things that I would just like to put a bug in an ear to maybe get on a work session or on an upcoming agenda. And that is, again, just to touch base on the work that we're doing with Dr. Church in Emporia State and the teacher retention survey. I just kind of keep rehashing that. I don't want that to fall off our radar. I'm excited to hear about, I know that there's some little microgroups meeting, and just wanting to hear whether he has something to present or maybe somebody from some of those groups that want to come and talk about what they're learning. And the other thing is I would love to hear or see if we are collecting data on exit surveys about people leaving the district, be it resignations, retirements, not so much. I feel like we've had a lot of resignations on the last few agendas, which makes me sad. And so I just want to know, as a board, that we're doing our due diligence. If our personnel staff is, I believe, doing exit surveys with those people. And so I'd just be curious if we're identifying any themes on why people are leaving. So to see if they might be something that we as a board can address. And really, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mrs. Schmidt. I know with regards to that is something that we discuss at the personnel committee, and we will have a meeting before the next board meeting. So maybe that's something that Ms. Boley and I can bring back and discuss
That'd be awesome.
at that time. And next board meeting, I'm going to call on you first, like Mr. Tatum used to do, so that you have to do all your committee reports. Dr. Bonebrake covered finance and Ms. Boley covered technology. And so I really just have a few things. I also had a honor student at Topeka High, but that Topeka High honor student was on their way to Dallas for the band trip that they enjoyed. And I appreciate all the support that the staff to help those band kids make that trip. I appreciate Advisors Excel and their real world experience that occurred, I believe, just earlier this week. Mr. Taylor, also, we got notification that he was the keynote speaker at the Urban Indian Conference in Chicago, which was great. Mr. Taylor, as we know, does a whole bunch for our Indigenous students. And then I would also, as Dr. Anderson did, I would also acknowledge the Paraprofessional Appreciation Day. I think a lot of people know there's a paraprofessional that's very special to me in my life, and I appreciate him. Most days growing up, I did not appreciate him most days, but I appreciate him now. And I think that's all. Oh, Mr. Munoz, yes, there is a Easter egg hunt from 10 to 12 at Hummer Sports Park on this Saturday. So, and that's all I have. So I will look for a motion to adjourn.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we adjourn.
And then a second from Dr. Beeson. Any discussion on adjournment? I'm going to draw this out a little bit longer. No. We'll vote by raise of hands in favor. And anybody opposed? Okay, carries unanimously. Thank you.